Hey there, welcome back to Insomniac Live, and it's a special day on Insomniac Live because we're marking the 15-year anniversary of Ratchet and Clank, which occurred on Saturday. 15 years ago was 2002. We had stuff like Friends was still a TV show on the air. PlayStation 2. Kingdom Hearts came out that year. Ryan and Tahar will be into that. And so we're going to play some original Ratchet and Clank today. My name is James Stevenson. I'm the Community Director at Insomniac Games. I'm here with someone who needs no introduction, Ted Price, founder and CEO of Insomniac Games. And we should have John Fiorito here in a little bit. He's probably doing game development stuff somewhere, and as soon as he's out of whatever meeting he's in, we'll have him run in here and get on the couch as well. And we're going to start off with the original Ratchet and Clank. So hope you guys all had a good weekend, chat. Hope you all saw Thor. It's great.
I haven't seen it yet, but is it?
I saw it last night. It's terrific.
Excellent.
Yeah,
okay.
I really, really liked it. So that's my favorite Thor movie by far.
Okay.
It's really good. And we've got the game going already, so I think Justin will bring it up on the monitor as we're seeing Clank dealing with warbots right at the very beginning of the game.
Yeah, this whole sequence was a lot of fun for us because coming up with an origin story for the two characters and doing it in a very short period of time was a pretty interesting challenge. And I can't remember how many versions of this we went through, but I think it didn't change that much from the original concept, where Clank was a reject and he crash landed on Ratchet's planet. We were I definitely remember we were fairly influenced by Star Wars, even though Star Wars came out a long time ago. But the whole idea of Ratchet being this mechanic on a backwater planet was somewhat derived from that.
The whole Luke Skywalker kind of looking off into the sun.
Exactly. I mean, he's wondering, what's my future? Am I just going to be stuck here forever? I want to experience more adventure. And that's sort of how we set him up. I don't think we were particularly explicit about that, but that was the inspiration for us in terms of getting him off the planet and help showing how he evolves as he runs into more characters and journeys to more worlds. And this awesome HUD, by the way, I got to animate that.
You were animating.
That was my one actual production contribution to Ratchet, was building and animating that bad boy.
I'm not sure if I can even change I'm trying to change the inverted.
You want me to do it?
I got it. There it is.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, there we go. Reversed.
It's so funny. Up, down, reversed, right? I don't think we use those terms anymore.
No, it's funny. Normal is inverted.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait, what is going on here?
I also go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
I remember railing against the sort of the folks who played normally, because I was an invert player forever, and then I think it was on Ratchet that I finally self-educated myself and got with it.
Got better.
Joined the crowd. Better.
Yeah, you were inverted all the way through into Resistance, right?
Maybe that's what it was. Resistance.
I think it was sometime during Resistance, but I remember. I feel like Resistance 2, we had to be very clear to make sure that your kiosk on the E3 stage was inverted.
Right.
And there was a big thing about making sure it was inverted so that we didn't accidentally get you killed.
Yes.
Slipknot 66 Fan 1 and Carl's 75. Thanks for the follow. If you haven't followed us on Twitch, click that button. We do shows 3 days a week. And we got some good shows coming up this week because we're going to be playing Wolfenstein 2. And then on the observance of Veterans Day, we're going to play some Call of Duty World War II on Friday. It'll be fun. I'm excited to check that out. The reviews are really good for it. Both games, actually.
That's one I've had targeted for a while.
It's kind of fun. I've been saying for years I really would love a Call of Duty game set of World War II. Because, it was like back in the day, everyone was so sick of World War II when like Call of Duty 4 came out, and then since then, like there haven't really been any World War II shooters for, I don't know, 6-7 years.
I think EA's put out. Medal of Honor had its run with World War II.
Yeah, but like it's been a while. It's like it's been 4, 5, 6 years. It's like it's ready to go invade Omaha Beach again.
And it looks amazing. Just the trailer.
It looks really cool.
I was I know we're talking about Ratchet, but I was playing Nier Automata this weekend.
Oh yeah.
I hadn't played it yet. It's a cool game. It's really neat.
What are you finding you like about it? I don't know, Chad, have you guys played Nier at all? Nier, what is it?
Nier's Automata, right?
I think that's
maybe
right.
I'm not pronouncing it.
Automata or Automata? That's probably, I don't know. You may have it more right than I do. I feel like if I could see the word, I could pronounce it better. I'm like, I couldn't spell that.
It's you know what? In fact, we're even talking about it. Maybe it was a good choice for me because people are going to discuss the game more. Stay debated. No, I really liked how I do like how they change up the camera frequently, and it's always a little bit of a surprise when you go into side-scrolling mode or top-down mode. It's interesting. I also, though, I like the RPG aspects of it. Giant robots. Yep, giant robots. We and Insomniac like giant robots. Yeah. And it's funny, I actually was a little bit reminded of Ratchet Clank because their aliens, the alien robots that you encounter, have sort of a whimsical appeal. And when we were making Ratchet Clank, the first one, we were coming off of Spyro and Girl with the Stick, which we've talked about in various other points, and had definitely wanted to go more stylized, more cartoony, and have characters that were whimsical, that were sort of fun. And you see when you're killing the frog guys here, they bounce. Right. They're kind of squashy and stretchy when they're moving around and when you kill them. There's more people who follow.
Yeah, I Love You 94, Thomas GS 98, Zedzer, and Rio Fergay, I think. Rio Fergay? That seems like it. Thanks for the follows. I forgot you got the Bond Glove for free right off the bat.
Yeah, that was another thing that I think we didn't put in at first, and I believe it was fairly. We realized that it was difficult to get through here. Or, again, this is kind of fuzzy because it's so long ago. John would remember when we were designing the enemies. We definitely wanted to have a close range contact and a long range projectile, which these guys are basically long range turrets. And the bomb was one of the most effective ways to take them out. I think also it gave us a chance to just basically introduce weapons in general. Like, what do you do besides use your wrench? Right. So we needed to tell people, okay, you got to hit a button to fire a weapon, because guess what? You're going to get a lot more
guns as the game goes on.
And I can't remember, maybe we missed a help message, but in terms of collecting bolts, I don't think we tell you why you're collecting bolts until you hit the first Gadgetron vendor.
They're just so satisfying to collect, you kind of just collect them anyway, though, because you get the sound, and you get there's the visual of it. Like, there's something so satisfying about bolt collection.
There is, and we spent a lot of time on that, too. I think Brian Hastings was the one who said, you know what, if you go to a casino and you hear roulette machines, slot machines in general, you hear that ching-ching sound, and we need something like that to remind players that what they're picking up is valuable.
Yep.
And they evolved over the years too. I think the bolts got shinier eventually in later games.
Do you know where I might find that fellow?
Well, he's on the radio.
Justin, can you up our volume or down the game volume? It sounds like people may have a hard time hearing us a little bit over the bolt sounds, because they're just so loud and so many of them.
Drek. One of my favorite characters in all of the Ratchet games was Drek, and mostly because he was a non-standard boss, and we were actually on the lot at Universal at the time, so I think we were sort of partially inspired by this whole movie mentality where slick executives were making big money decisions. Nothing to do with us at Insomniac, but I think...
What you're saying is you saw the Chairman Drex walking around.
Kinda, yeah.
Or actually, they were riding on their little golf carts around places.
Well, literally, that's what happened. Yeah, we go to lunch and you see the golf carts riding around. And nobody looked like him, but that was sort of our perfect alien Hollywood guy.
Was there anything else weird that happened on the Universal lot, like being on this active movie set?
Well, we got
show.
No, nothing weird. The most frustrating thing that happened was when we were in our first year. We moved up from San Diego to work in LA. We were on the lot in a bungalow. They have these little yellow bungalows that are basically like houses, and we were next door to Naughty Dog, and the bungalow we were in had no air conditioning.
Oh, God.
And it was the middle of summer, and our computer stopped working because it was so hot that everything just shut down. The GPUs were getting fried, and we couldn't work.
In an era of Hollywood where everyone was on typewriters doing scripts, it's probably fine. But in a computing era, you can't be in the valley without air conditioning and not expect. And we have, even if our air conditioning chugs a little bit here, it warms up so fast with all the bodies and computers on a really hot day.
And in the server rooms, right? Server rooms, you have to keep cold. If there's anything that goes wrong, then you're in big trouble, especially with the giant production.
Yep, you gotta keep everything well backed up. Moobs like Jagger, Hallhawk, Mikulak, and Jedi147. Thank you all for the follows. Appreciate that, guys. They're talking about how... Oh, it's kind of fun. of Spicy Keychain said, anyone else discover the game through the demo disc that came with launch PS2s? Couldn't have been with launch, right? Was it?
No.
Yeah, you wouldn't have done a demo disc that early, but there would have been one that maybe was a packed in demo disc. I know there were demo discs. I have copies of them somewhere.
Yeah, we did demos for every one of the games that we made in that era, and they would be distributed, I think, through stores.
No, and also like the magazine, right? Like the official magazine would sometimes have a demo disc.
Yes.
They would have a bunch of demos, and then the stores would get them. And
yeah, there are definitely kiosks in stores, and the demo would be playing on them. And we spent a lot of time thinking about the demos and what do you put on them? How do you have the gameplay loop running? When do you cut to the gameplay loop? It ends up still taking a lot of time out of production because those demos have to go out before the game is done, and that means that your HUD has to be finished, your rendering has to be finished, the characters have to be done, and it's a good forcing function because when you are presenting something to the world that's playable, you better have your act together because people are going to make the decision to buy the game sometimes based on the demo.
Yeah, and even that, like, I think that still holds true today. Like, just even putting out, say, like a Spider-Man trailer last week, perhaps, like making sure you're.
When we put out a Spider-Man trailer?
Oh yeah, did you guys miss that? We did talk about it.
Actually.
There's a great episode of our show last week you can watch on demand with Brian Intihar and the crew where we do a rewind of the trailer. It's a lot of fun and lots of good questions about Spider-Man. But stuff like just getting kind of, where you have stuff that isn't quite final and you have to kind of make it final to show it.
Yeah.
And it can get everyone to be like, okay, let's get in the work and actually like settle on something, which is really can be useful at times.
It's great. Actually, when you're in our team and you can all rally around something like that, where there is no margin for error. What you're putting out there is you representing your game. Then it's amazing. And people come up with great ideas, great solutions for problems. The Gadgeton vendor, here we go.
Yeah.
Get your processor.
Oh, I can't afford it. I apparently have.
I did that animation. I
You
did
did
that. That's the only thing people will let me do on the team.
Okay, you can do the menus.
Yeah, exactly. I think it was because we had somebody who was doing it and he left Insomniac. And I think nobody else was available to do it, so I got to sneak in and get my tiny contribution into the game.
Arcana Legacy asked if we're doing anything special for the 15th anniversary, and yes, we are. If you're in the LA area or even around, please. Did I actually just trigger that info bot again? I think I did. All right, let's stop it. There we go.
Do you want me to play while you're talking?
Yeah, sure. I'll let you play for a little bit.
Okay.
Actually, I'll answer that question in a second. Waro Bravo, James Kelly 2600, bring back Courtney Gears. That seems like an alt account someone just made to make me say that. Square Fan, Final Fantasy VII. That's a good game. I prefer 6 myself, but 7's good. Thank you all. Circle is the button. Remember, no strafing.
My God!
No strafing.
Oh, I was going to strafing, and I got to move the camera around.
Yep.
Okay.
That was always like early on. I'm like trying to throw the bombs. Like, oh man, I can't strafe. This is tough. Thank you all for following, guys. Click that follow button. Like I said, got good shows coming up later this week. We stream 3 times a week.
Sorry, I shouldn't say that.
You can say
bastard. I curse occasionally when I'm playing games.
Sophie said things way worse than you could possibly say.
Of course, yes. That's Sophie. She educated you on the Irish.
Yeah, yes, she has all sorts of great words. That's just terrific. And the best part is some of those words, like no one, if you weren't Irish or British, you probably wouldn't know they were actually foul.
Yeah.
That's the fun part. It's like why Battlestar created all their own. Curse words.
I blew it. Oh, I'm gonna die.
Oh,
I'm sorry. I wasn't paying attention. I need to go up to the air pocket there. You know what? Forget it. Let's just go
this way. Let's not do the hard. Let's go kill these guys. Anyway, Arcana Legacy. If you're around Los Angeles or in the area, Saturday night we're having a celebration event at Gallery Nucleus here in Los Angeles. It's in roughly in Alhambra area, and we will have there'll be a bunch of production art. The actual original drawings of Ratchet Clank, the ink and pencil drawings will be there, framed up and on the wall. There's props from the old TV commercials.
Right.
Awesome. Yeah, all sorts of good stuff. Photo booth, drinks, snacks. There'll be brand new exclusive merchandise from Eric Scarecrow Toys, which are making some 15th anniversary merchandise too. They're doing some plushies. They're doing some vinyls. We'll retweet when those are available for pre-order. They've been doing some Ratchet Clank streams themselves.
And Insomniacs will be
there. And Insomniacs will be there. Ted will be there. John Fiorito will be there. Brian Algeier will be there. I will be there. We'll have probably a ton more people not like officially there, but who will be hanging out as well, doing autographs, all that sort of good stuff. So it should be a really fun night. There'll be stuff you can buy. There'll be giveaways for the first 150 people in line. There'll be snacks. There'll be drinks. You should come out. If you need to get dinner in that area, there's awesome Chinese food out in that area, like great Sichuanese restaurants that are like spicy.
What would you recommend? Because you are the food guy.
So Chengdu Taste and Szechuan Impression. Chengdu Taste.
Chengdu Taste.
Yeah, Chengdu is the capital city of Szechuan.
Okay.
And Szechuan Impression are both killer Sichuanese restaurants that are in that area and are good enough to make a journey to that area on their own. But if you're gonna be there anyway, you can have a terrific Chinese dinner.
Okay.
In that ballpark with very authentic, spicy Sichuan food. It's funny replaying this now because most recently I replayed the PS4 version, and the layout's very similar, and the same moments happen where like the bridge collapses, and you come down here, and it's all that said, and we are playing the PS3 HD collection version just because of the widescreen aspect and everything for you guys.
Yeah.
But still looks terrific. Like the art design is timeless.
Yes.
John, I wish John was here at this point because I talked with him about that a little more. But the art's still sensational.
I remember John sketched all of the production, the concept sketches. He made the concept sketches for all of the worlds, and this one I remember in particular. His style. He's an architect,
right?
So his style is very tight. Well, actually, he'd call it loose, but it's professional.
Right. Yes.
We have some more folks who are joining us here.
Yep. M. Baffif, Batman likes pizza. Who doesn't like pizza? If you're in chat and you don't like pizza, you may want to fess up, but maybe not, because we might all tell you you're wrong. Gamerboy Carl, Matoro 2, and Death Moans. Thank you all for the follows. The Agent of Doom said Spicy's food recommendations, please. We're actually going to do this next month. We're getting some of the hottest chicken wings in Los Angeles, and we will have people trying to eat them and play games.
Really?
And it will murder people.
Really? So are these actually edible?
So they are edible. They are from the same hot chicken place we normally go to, and we will have some of their hottest level.
Okay.
And
do they make boneless versions?
Nope, they don't. They don't do tenders yet.
I'm out.
They're talking about doing tenders. They're not actually wings either. They're like actual chicken wings, dude. They're not like the little drumsticks.
Oh.
They're the real pieces of chicken, like a wing. Like if you were getting like Kentucky Fried Chicken and you got a wing off of chicken, that's what it is.
Wow.
So we'll see how it goes, but I expect to see a bunch of us in pain.
Okay, one of my favorite videos of all time. This is where we discovered who Captain Quark is, and I'm talking about Insomniac. We figured it out. And
Hi, I'm Captain Quark, and believe me, there's nothing worse than staring down a Blargian Snagglebeast from the inside and knowing your equipment
From the
is
inside, I
functioning
love it.
properly.
Well,
That's why I come to Al's RoboShack for all
this
your
has been Captain Quark's personality throughout the entire series, and Jim Ward, who is the voice actor here, just nailed it. And we were looking for somebody who was a little bit tick-like, right, and at the same time just larger than life, full of himself, and a little bit dumb. And again, this character just epitomizes that kind of superhero who takes all the credit.
Right.
And, but when we saw this, I remember seeing this video back in our old Burbank office, and everybody going, "Yep, that's it. That's Quark. He's the right foil for Ratchet and Clank. If you can have two characters who have a foil, I don't know, but it basically worked." And from there on, he became, I guess, more complex, a little bit more complex through the various games as we tried to figure out more, slightly more sophisticated motivation for him. And slightly
It's
more.
hard.
I know it is hard because he's
It's
such a
hard.
buffoon.
He's like, oh well.
Yeah.
It's usually like some weird thing. I mean, he somehow got elected galactic president, which was kind of, I don't know, pretty-essent of us to think that something like that could even happen.
Right.
So, Arcana Legacy, any Twitter giveaways for fans in other states that can't attend? No, but a lot of the stuff will be available on their website, Gallium Nucleus's website on Sunday, so keep an eye out. They will post stuff. If you're looking for a perfect gift for Ratchet and Clank loved one, or maybe you want to give it to your, you want to give a list of stuff for someone for yourself for Christmas, there'll be some cool stuff on their site. Let's see what else we got in the chat. Loud Dreamer 5 says, does Sony own the Spiral of Death? No, the guy who created the Spiral of Death, the player who created the Spiral of Death, is the one who actually owns the Spiral of Death. He won that as part of his creation in the weapon creation contest. I don't think they made 2 of them. If they did, I'm unaware of it. And if they were going to make 2, I would hope they would have made 3 so we could have one. But I believe the only copy of that weapon is the guy who is owned by the guy who made it. There you go.
All right.
Portal Player 4 says, will you ever port the old Ratchet and Clank games and Resistance games to PS4?
That's a great suggestion.
We would love that to happen.
Yes.
I think that's one of those things where, like,
No problem.
we wouldn't ever do that in house ourselves, probably.
Yeah.
That's something an outside studio would do. So if Sony, we'd love to see that happen at some point.
Yeah.
If there's, if
Enough.
Sony thinks there's I think you guys keep telling PlayStation if that's something you want, and if I think it's one of those things where when the time is right, hopefully we'll see something like that. But we would definitely support it and love to see it. We know you guys would love it.
Yeah.
Phoenix Gladiator, Atlas Jewel, Ladyhawk, and Dark Online. Thanks all for the follow. If you're just joining us, this is Insomniac Live, and we're here celebrating the 15th anniversary of Ratchet and Clank, which came out 15 years and 2 days ago. I'm here with Ted Price, the founder and CEO of Insomniac Games. We're playing the original Ratchet and Clank on the PlayStation. It's a PlayStation 2 game. We're playing the PS3 HD collection version of it, which gives us the nice widescreen view and all of that. So, I actually had a Japanese copy and I almost brought it, but I figured people would want to hear the actual dialogue. But I almost did it just so we could do have the big eyebrows that Ratchet had. There was a lot of weird things like that when you were working with Japan in terms of localizing, because they definitely had stuff they thought would work best for their market.
Yeah, definitely. And I can't, unfortunately, I don't speak Japanese, so I don't know how much the story was changed, but they assured all of us here at Insomniac that the story was different for the Japanese Ratchet. And because I think a lot of the inside humor that we put in the game, for example, we have a character coming up here, which I think is very American humor, didn't fly for the Japanese audience.
Look,
Plumber's crack.
Yeah.
Right?
The plumber's crack joke is not a Japanese joke.
Probably not. This actor who plays the plumber was with us through a lot of the Ratchet franchise. He is on Scrubs.
He was the janitor, right?
The janitor in Scrubs, yeah. And he's a friend of Oliver Wade, who was our animation director at the time, and was awesome. I think his performance is great.
Now, Ratchet's the only person who gets a full hand. Everyone else is like these 3 finger things. That was another Japan thing, right?
Yes, I think we were also interested in keeping them as simple as possible. I think the issue is you don't want 3 fingers
in Japan.
That's right. It's like sort of sign of that the Yakuza cut off your finger, maybe
something like that.
I never really got the straight story from.
I believe that's true. I think that is true. That it's like you had 1 finger cut off, so it's like a weird like organized crime thing in Japan.
I just, you know what? I gotta say that seems odd to me. That everybody would be concerned about that. The entire population goes, well, you're missing a forefinger. It means that you owe the Yakuza money.
If anyone knows if that's true, maybe it's in the Yakuza video games. I've heard those are great. I haven't played them myself. Oh, did you buy that infobot?
Oh, did I?
No, I think you played Triangle. There you go.
Right.
Before I run past him and
Right.
no longer have it. Yeah, if you guys know if that's true. Francis G33 asked,
Again.
I love it, yeah.
Did he just slide down a sewer? I think that's what he said. I remember seeing these, because this was one of the first levels we built, and we played these scenes again. I mean, as we were making them again and again and again and again. So you start hearing these things in your sleep. Skid McMarks,
Even
yes.
15 years later.
Puerile humor. Skid. Why did we? I don't know why we called him that, but we did.
The humor definitely evolved.
Yeah, it got a little bit more
years.
sophisticated.
There's definitely like Ratchet was sort of a cool guy. Ratchet, you brought up the voice acting. Ratchet was voiced by a different actor in the first game.
Yes.
James Arnold Taylor has been Ratchet since Going Commando, and definitely is the voice of Ratchet, but he was not the voice of Ratchet in this one.
That's right. And Ratchet's look evolved too. I mean, here you can see he's still looking a little rough. I think his look got more sophisticated, especially around the eyes with each game that we did.
Yeah, and he got a shirt.
That's right. He eventually got a shirt. But I think I've mentioned this in another podcast. I give a lot of credit to our Japanese producers at the time. Ryoichi Hasegawa, for example, was one of the guys who suggested make him yellow, and please give him stripes for his ears.
Yeah.
And that it helps because when you're this far away from a character, which we normally are, he will blend into the background if you don't have something of interest on those giant ears and that tail.
And the coloring change is definitely a big deal there. It helps a lot.
Yeah, he used to be the color of that floor. That's how we started, and he would blend into a lot of different things.
Let's see. I saw Francis G33. He said, "Do you guys play Horizon Zero Dawn?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah.
I actually need to. I'm close to finishing it, and I need to go finish it before the DLC comes out.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I have not come close to finishing it, but I'd still play it once every couple weeks, I think. At this point.
It's so good. I really like that game. I assume most of chat has played Horizon Zero Dawn. Can you afford it now? Oh, you can afford it now. Now
Yes,
we got that. Now we got that. I really like that game. I think fighting giant dinosaurs is a lot of fun.
Yeah, you know what? That was key for me. It didn't matter. I like the story, but I didn't. As long as I was able to kill the dinosaurs and collect the cool stuff that came off of them, that worked for me.
Yeah.
All right, we got a different plan here.
Yeah. Time to get it going.
I love these ships too. This was also a lot of fun for us to design the different ships in the game. For me personally, it was gratifying. All right, so
we have two choices now.
Metropolis, of course.
Yeah, we'll go to Metropolis for
right.
sure. This is the E3 demo, right? This is the big demo you guys, or Metropolis was one of the big early demos.
Metropolis was what we showed Sony during our first demonstration when they came down to our Burbank office, and we were moving off of Grow with the Stick and onto something new. This is what we showed them. Nice. So blast off, right? X, or coming up is what we showed them, and it was all smoke and mirrors because we built the city with no backs. So all the buildings were basically almost cardboard cutouts. There was really no gameplay, but what was important was Ratchet. We had Ratchet, the character. He had a Pyrocitor and I think a suck cannon. And the city looked different because, and this was Mark Cerny's suggestion, having the city with lots of vegetation growing all over it created a really interesting color palette. And it wasn't your standard city. Right. The other thing that we did that I remember being a lot of fun was creating all those big streams of cars. Yeah. And that meant we got to build, we decided we're going to build all these different types of flying cars, which was fun. I think we were all inspired by Fifth Element. Yeah. You can see sort of that inspiration in the city as well, in the architecture.
Yeah. And it just gives it that feel of being very alive. And you have lush plants growing everywhere. There's creatures and stuff. Bolts flying, cars flying. It feels very
populated.
Yep, and just frenetic too. I think is a good way of looking at it.
And later games, we start populating the city with the robots. I think the robot citizens. I think which one was it? We started adding more and more as we have different versions of Metropolis. Why am I being stupid? Okay, there we go.
There you go. That circle button.
Yes. I'm so used
to the
shoulder
buttons. Yeah, no shoulder button. Agni Shoblage, Jordan San 201, Tigran SG, and Zeke Fergay, which I assume must be the same guy from before, maybe in a different name, changed name. It's 2 in a row. Thanks for the follows, guys and gals. Godborn Plus was talking about the plumber scene. He's like, how come stuff like this was left out in the PS4 remake?
That's a great question. We creative license, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was also there was a certain scale we were going to be able to, in terms of this game has 18 planets, and so there's a certain scale to the game we were going to be able to pull off given what we could do for that, and so it was there's a combination of finding the right size of the game that worked based on the time we had, as well as tying it into the film and making that work really well too. And I think those two things are kind of how you kind of build that and put the pieces of the puzzle together. And every game's like that to some regard.
Well, I think also it's important that we were not making a port.
Right.
We were making a game based on the movie, based on the game. Right. That was our tagline, and that meant that we actually wanted to change things up. We wanted to give players a slightly different experience than they had playing the first one.
Yeah. I mean, even just from a base fundamental level, like when you could strafe and the weapon changing, and the enemies had to play differently. Like just the core gameplay of the game plays very, very differently because you're playing a modern Ratchet game, not the first Ratchet game.
Yep. Yeah, exactly, and that helps, especially with people who haven't played Ratchet before.
Yep.
We need to feel like well, as you said, a modern platformer that had progressed. The other thing I think I am missing here is the pause on the
on the weapon
quick select.
Yeah. So if you're changing weapons, it's like,
Wait,
wait, they can still shoot me? What? First introduction to Big Al and his Robo Shack. Some Old Spicy keychain. What's the strangest promotion tie-in to come out of the Ratchet and Clank series? I recall my local toy store offering an official suck cannon with pre-orders. In reality, it was an air cannon with the series logo slapped on.
Well, yes, the suck cannon would be a unique item.
I have a pair of boxers from Going Commando.
Do you? Okay.
I was sent out to the press.
Oh.
A pair of Going Commando boxers. I think we have them on somewhere.
How about, did you ever get an inflatable Ratchet?
Yep, I have one of those. In fact, it's sitting right over there. Mine is my inflatable Ratchet that I got back in the day, and he's in the set. I don't know if you guys can see it right now, but we have an inflatable Ratchet. The bottom part doesn't inflate anymore, but the inflatable Ratchet was one I was thinking of too. I'm trying to think if there's any other like really crazy ones. The boxers were in a lunch bag too, if I remember right. Like it's a Going Commando lunch bag that had a pair of boxers inside.
So that's what we sent out to journalists.
Yep.
Right. Okay.
Yep. The first time I played Ratchet, I remember getting the first preview disc for Ratchet, which had the first 8 levels, I think. And I remember sitting in my dorm room in college and playing Ratchet all the way. They were playing through those first 8 levels and just kind of being like, "Holy shit, this is amazing!"
Really?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yep. It was like at my desk, probably ignoring homework or something, and just powering through it. And then they sent the next 8 levels later on, or like a month later, and then they sent the whole game. And like every time it came in, it was just like stop everything, put it in,
Right on.
play through the rest of the game. Those were all very exciting times.
Did you have roommates?
I did. I had a roommate.
Were they cool with you playing Ratchet, using the TV?
Yeah, he actually loved. We had 2 TVs in the room. I had a 13-inch on my desk, and then we had another TV, so I could sit there. If I was doing something, I could sit there and just play right on my desk. And then we put a surround sound system in there eventually. And at some point, we had like 500 games in the room because like people were selling stuff all the time. So
yeah, right.
We had blocked out. We had this giant window, and we had blocked it out. It was stacked completely full with PlayStation 2 and Xbox, the original Xbox. And maybe it was GameCube, I guess, at the time. But basically, the entire window was completely full of video games. People would walk in and be like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" Like, what is this Blockbuster? I'm like, hey,
gone are those days, aren't they? I mean, at least for me,
digital game. Yeah, I mean,
I download everything.
I have some, but yeah, it's like going more and more. Everything is digital and digital codes, and I kind of like that, knowing that I don't have to worry about having a disc or anything.
Right.
Like, oh, I don't have to lose it. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to deal with it. I just log back into my account, and all my games are there. Eddie Dead Soul 46, Leafer 4880, Axical, and Cooker Path. Cooker Path? Cooker? Pally? Oh, Pally? Paldy? Oh, Cooker Pally. Thanks for the follows.
Oh, I died.
Everyone.
What?
Oh, man.
What?
No.
I was not paying attention. So another thing that we learned later on is that you definitely need to give more clues about your state of health. And I think we have audio cues in here. I just can't hear them right now. So bad on me.
And only having
only
having 4 hit points is a challenge too. In some of these, I remember that was the other thing I remember. Ratchet and Clank was hard.
Yeah.
It was a hard game.
Yeah.
And maybe it was just because I was like good at it, and I know that the game catches up to you act tuning wise. So,
yeah, that's true. So we had dynamic tuning. Just for act tuning, that was our acronym, and I can't active something tuning.
Active challenge. No.
Yeah, I think I'll give Mark Cerny and Brian Hastings credit for that one.
Yeah. So basically, that counted basically just the amount of time you had played and your amount of deaths, and then would adjust the difficulty based on that. I think.
I'm impressed.
I think that's right.
I can't remember exactly. You have to get Brian in here, and he could tell you.
Yeah, we had it all the way through Tools of Destruction. I don't think Resistance. Well, maybe Resistance 2 did, but I know we dropped it on a Kraken time. That was the first game that, for sure, I know we dropped act tuning.
Right, and I think there were always player concerns about it, meaning that if we were tuning things behind the scenes and making the game more easier when you failed frequently, then I think there were some players that were upset about that, and so we were fairly quiet.
Yeah, it was one we didn't talk about back then in those days at all. Like it was always like that's like a secret sauce sort of thing. Like we don't get into the details on that. And it was I mean, you see other games do it too in their own ways. Like I remember there was some hallway in a Call of Duty game, like maybe it was Call of Duty 4, it was Modern Warfare 2, where I was dying over and over and I just couldn't get through it, and then eventually it spawned a checkpoint where there hadn't been one for like the first 6 or 7 tries, and I was like, oh, so, you know, like after you failed enough times, like there's a hidden checkpoint to let you, you know.
Well, I think the early Call of Duties, I thought they were the king of that.
They might have been.
Yeah. At least that's what I recall. I mean,
that's not the right button.
By the way, I reversed the left-right.
Yeah, that's good. Yes, that's.
It was something strange. It was strange for me. So these guys, the Blarg, again,
Let's get the health. Let's get the health. Oh, this is the train sequence.
Yes, but it doesn't leave until you kill it.
Yeah.
So another fun design challenge for us, because they've all got that same look as Drek, and I think what was really enjoyable was creating classes of creatures in the Ratchet games, because you would make them all part of the same family, but then you could create big ones, small ones, skinny ones, obese ones, and they all fit. And that was important to us. We wanted players to feel like, yeah, I get it. These are all part of the same race, same family. And it helped us tell the story a little bit better without exposition.
Someone just pointed out that the Rep J pointed out that the speed run of this game is 22 minutes.
I find that hard to believe.
It's true.
Well, I know, but I still find it hard to believe.
It is crazy. Would you ever thought when you're making this game, oh, someday people will know how to beat this game in 22 minutes?
No, of course not. I mean, I don't think any game we make, we ever think about that. We think more about, are there enough activities for people to have fun in this world? I mean, we're making the big world interesting.
Now, it was a big challenge. Can these guys even... Yeah, they can move. It was a big challenge just to be able to get them to move on a platform like this, right? Like,
yes.
You have this platform moving through the city, and
I think, ironically, we had the challenge with every game. Because, for some reason, I think we rewrite this particular system where we have physics working on moving objects. That was just what I recall. It was always, I think, in Ratchet 2, same issue.
Anti-Cursor, Weirdo T0, Mintus 14, Loser Kiddo 1. You're not a loser in my book. Thanks for the follow, guys. Appreciate that, guys, gals, all of you out there. That's awesome. I saw one just before, but I think that was the first exploding crate we saw.
Nope. I experienced those earlier.
Oh, okay. I just was not paying. I was probably looking at questions.
Well, what I was thinking the first time I hit them was that klaxon sound. That was not unique to Ratchet. That klaxon sound, I think, has been used everywhere, in movies, in other games.
Oh, those are mines. All right. I was like, oh, what are those?
Yeah.
I'm gonna run across it.
Again, another thing we've definitely changed up is we definitely have gotten smarter about stuff like this. Like, those are really difficult to see, and it's not clear that they're hazardous until you get hurt.
I like how he picks them up if he runs past them. I love that. Like, he's like totally this weird sort of support character almost, like a support enemy character.
And I think that was just that was a reflection of our interest of just keeping things varied, but at the same time not trying to create an unlimited number of enemy types.
Okay, let's see. Black Demon 47 said, Ted, do you think Dr. Nefarious had a mean personality for a villain?
Then Drek?
I don't know, just mean in general. I think he's fairly...
No. He was actually... I thought he had a pretty interesting motivation. And he was self-centered, but he had a goal for self-improvement because of what happened to him. He wanted to kind of get back to where his organic self. And was upset and frustrated with the rest of the organic world, right? Because of what happened to him. So was he mean? No meaner than any other villain that we see today. He wasn't evil.
He was mean to Lawrence.
Yes, that's right. He was his
butler.
Yes.
To help.
But Lawrence took it well.
Yeah, he was.
Lawrence basically was in. He knew the inside joke.
He was the patience of a saint.
Yes.
Let's see. Just like Camo Promo, no one's heard of that before.
That's great.
Nectarine asked you, what other PS2 era games were you guys playing besides Ratchet? Were you a Devil May Cry guy, a GTA guy? What other stuff were you into back at that time?
Oh, me personally, yes and yes. I mean, played them both.
I feel like WoW was the big one, right?
Yeah, a lot of WoW. I was obsessed with that. I think probably a lot of Insomniacs were obsessed with that. We had one Insomniac go marry somebody she met on WoW.
Oh, wow.
Exactly.
I didn't mean to say that, but it is funny. It makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
In case you're just joining us, this is Insomniac Live, and we are
We're
celebrating
for hire.
we're comedians for hire. We're celebrating the 15th anniversary of Ratchet and Clank, which was this past Saturday. I'm here with Insomniac founder and CEO Ted Price, and we're playing the original Ratchet and Clank. Though we're playing the PS3 version HD collection, and we're maybe about to hit Captain Quark's training course. You got one? Is there one new weapon over on the right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
the
The blaster,
but we
finally.
can't afford it yet.
God.
Can't afford it.
Okay.
WoW was banned for a while, right? Like, you had to actually tell people to not play WoW at work.
Oh.
That was like one of the few games, like,
I can't remember.
I feel like I remember, like, that was the only game that ever got banned at the office.
I thought it was StarCraft, actually.
Oh, was it StarCraft?
Yeah,
Okay.
because during Ratchet 1, Spyro 3, we were shutting down work and playing StarCraft starting about 7 or so until ridiculous hours in the morning, and everybody would come in
And wiped out.
after a few hours of sleep going, I can't even focus. And that was because we were so addicted to StarCraft. Yeah.
That's good. Did you see there's WoW vanilla servers are coming back where you could actually play WoW as it originally was?
Really?
Yeah,
I
like
don't
they're
want
starting
to.
to.
I don't.
Like, the grind to 60 was pretty rough.
Yeah, it was. And
like the grind and then the grind to get a mount. Like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
Mm.
I'll put my time into all the great open world games that are out there right now.
Okay. I didn't know if you were like nostalgia lenses. Like, kids, here, play this. This is, you'll
Well,
understand.
I did play with my kids. So eventually, when WoW went through its, I don't know, third or fourth expansion, whatever it was, I got 2 of my kids into it and got them, and gave them accounts, and we would play together on weekends. But you know what? They didn't experience the same thing, the same love for it that I did. They liked it, but they were also used to playing games that were newer.
Mm.
I mean, even though WoW has continued to look better and better with all of its expansions, the same basic gameplay persists, and if you aren't a grinder, forget it.
Yeah.
Right?
You gotta really like that world, or like the people you're playing with enough that you just want to hang out and play with them.
Yeah.
Not saying they didn't like playing with you, but
Well, you know what? Part of the problem was I would advance much more quickly than they would. Now I would be trying to help them, and they would say, "Dad, I'm fine, but you're too high level, so leave me. You know, I can't go with
stop
you."
killing everything for us.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta be the healer then. Just like, I'll keep you alive.
What am I? Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
X.
yeah.
It's another usability challenge right there. We should have
What
put
do
the X up.
What do I do here? Is there a button I have to press? Northern Star Dragon says, I wish I got in this series way sooner. I only got into it since last year.
Oh.
Hey.
Well, still.
Well,
If you want to get in, huh?
That's great. And then you have this, like, it's kind of like binge playing.
Yeah.
Get a Netflix TV show you didn't know you would watch, and there's like 5 seasons, and then you can just catch a ton of it.
And you can finish this one in 22 minutes.
Well, I think if you
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Somebody can. I don't
When
know
you
who
watch
that
that,
person
it's
is.
crazy because they break the hell out of it when they do it. It's nuts.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, like
So
there's just every little glitch or exploit they can do. It's crazy. Those speed runs are nuts.
So that was, what's funny, when we released this was way before the days of YouTube where you could see people breaking your game. And it was also before the days where we would be putting out patches frequently. So
You had to make sure the game was good to go when you shipped it.
Yep.
That
Big testament to Sony and Insomniac QA for really thoroughly going through the game and finding all the problems.
I remember those are the days, you want to get on the other one,
Yeah,
I
I'm
think.
being dumb, sorry.
Those are the days you have like a VHS or VCR, right? Like
Yes.
everyone had VCR. So everyone's playing the game through a VCR where they were tape recording footage of... Oh, nice. What a save. There's just, you're constantly recording over a tape of your playthrough in case you need to, like, here's what happened. Here's a video record of it. And now a lot of that, you can do it all digitally. Oh my.
I got it. Go.
Quark's
go.
training course.
I'm trained, officially.
Anastasia 2458. So was Insomniac specifically going for a cat-like look for Ratchet, or did it just end up like that in the end result?
Well, he started as a lizard, and eventually kind of graduated to a cat fox like thing. But I don't think when Dave Burton was doing the sketches,
he had a dog look too.
Yeah. I don't think cat was in anything he ever said. In fact, if you look at his nose, it is a little bit more dog-like.
Yeah.
So fox is usually what I heard. Just because the ears are large.
Yeah, he has that. Like he definitely had the, like I said, there's the lizard at first. This is
Helga. I love Helga.
Oh, what I love is that we eventually went back and like explored the Valkyries later on too. Like the Valkyries are all Helga's, which is a unconfirmed fan theory that we'll confirm for you right now. It's actually confirmed in the Ratchet Clank art book. That was another thing we didn't mention. In February, we have a art book for the entire series coming out through Dark Horse, and you can pre-order that from your favorite bookseller, Amazon comic book store now. But if you have always wanted to have like 200-something pages of Ratchet and Clank art collected for you with commentary and notes.
The commentary is great because it does, as James is alluding to, give some of the backstory behind these character designs and worlds. And I forgot some of them. I know that one of my favorite comments is that one of our larger creatures in our later game is designed based on Guthrie. Guthrie Iddings, one of our animators in character guys in North Carolina, who's a big guy, big strapping guy. And after I looked at the design and I thought about Guthrie, it made sense.
There was I didn't realize that the plumber was after Dave Burton's dad.
What?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yep. That was.
I missed that comment.
Yep,
okay.
It was basically actually it probably didn't say Dave Burton's dad. That was one of the final edits I made. It was like to clarify who. Come on in.
Hey John.
To clarify whose dad it was. Yeah, grab a seat. Everybody, John Fiorito, our chief operating officer. He was art director back in the day, and yeah.
Yeah. Hey guys.
Thanks for joining us.
Glad I could make it.
Yeah.
Where are you? Are you at Metropolis?
We made it to Metropolis.
Quark's training course. Helga just sold us a swing shot.
Awesome.
So now we're swinging around.
And if you want to play, I got it right here. I've gotten used to it now because there's no lock strafes, so or no strafe.
You get through the training course, and I'll do the next segment.
Okay. We're about ready to maybe even go to the next planet.
Yeah, I think we're getting close. Anastasia said, will you play Up Your Arsenal anytime soon? We'll definitely play Up Your Arsenal at some point. I don't know when, but soon.
I think that's an Insomniac favorite.
Yep. Usually it's between that and Going Commando and Summer Crack in Time. Would be the three usually when people are asked what their favorite Ratchet and Clank game is.
Oh, because I
just
spent
robbed you $1,000. It's like Moneybags all over
No
again.
kidding.
Moneybags taking your
Hey,
bolts.
fuzzball.
Yeah, hey, football. Yeah, you can do it better than I can. He has a New York accent, Chicago or New York accent. Chicago.
Southside, the Cubs. The Cubs, the Bears.
Well, it's fun to see how many bolts come out of the original crates compared to the crates of the current game. So
except to keep filling them with
inflation.
more and more.
Yeah,
Bolt
exactly.
inflation. Yeah, bolts used to be worth a lot more back in the day, kids. Not worth shipping that few bolts now.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we can go to Skid McMark's, huh?
Should we do that?
Yeah,
Should we do? Okay.
we should go to
All
Skid McMark's.
So that's Iridia, right?
Tainbro, thanks for the follow.
John, you want to play Iridia?
Sure, it's the desert planet.
With the swarmers.
Yeah,
So
with
this
the
is where
Alright.
swarmers originated for us, and I think that was a term that we made up, at least for ourselves here. And the reason we did this was because variety. That was usually the answer to most of the questions that we had about characters.
Yeah, didn't we
Sand
also
sharks.
want a reason that you couldn't just run up to an enemy and just start shooting them? Like you'd have these guys pestering you up close.
Yeah. Well. Also, it forced the use of certain weapons.
Right. Yep.
That was
Yeah.
like these guys.
You wanted the Pyrocitor, to kill him with the flamethrower. Circle is the gun now, by the way. You don't get the R1, but you can press circle to fire. Oh, that's right.
That's
Your
right. The gadgets are on the weapon
gadgets are
wheel.
on the weapon wheel. Yeah.
But you notice too, though, the swarmers were circling around you, and so the point there was to
I'll go back
give you
to it.
incentive to. Well,
I think there's a
you
bunch of
probably
them
killed
over
them.
here.
oh yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, there's this
Over by
background.
skids.
Go
Skid.
find Skid McMark's.
There he is.
Oh yeah, buddy. Use some toilet paper, man.
James, come on, man. We are no longer in our 20s.
Is it cringy now? Like,
It is.
is
It's
it
totally
cringy
for me. It is. It's. I don't. Yeah.
People
I think
love
we've
it
moved
though.
on.
People love it. They love that. There's like a lot of people like, man, I love that humor in the first few games. Still to this day, maybe they haven't grown up.
Can you skip?
Can you skip a cutscene? I don't know if you can
I
skip.
love this animation.
I know. I want to get to the sand sharks, I guess.
Man, I saw a good question. Oh, someone said, is the Warmonger liked by any other developer since it's been in every game since its debut? Yeah, we all like the Warmonger, and I think some of that too is just a rocket launcher is a rocket launcher is a rocket launcher, and so when it's the amount of resources at times, you're trying to make good decisions about how do you spend the amount of time you have to make a game. Like, what's more impactful, making a new version of a rocket launcher or using that character and artist and programmer time to do something else? So that's always kind of that gaming challenge, I think, or game development challenge when you have.
True.
Because you always.
But I think you come back to. I mean, the point is that rocket launcher is fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so is a shotgun. So is a sniper rifle. So I mean, these are we definitely
every
were
game
inspired.
has those archetypes, right?
Yeah, but we were inspired also by just general shooter archetypes, and these days they were first-person shooter archetypes because there weren't many, if any, platformers that had guns in them.
Right.
And so we were deriving all of our sort of inspiration from games like Doom and what other shooters, Call of Duty, that were out on the market. And when we had our weapon brainstorming sessions, I recall sort of starting out with the standard archetypes,
Right.
and then sort of branching out from there. But we would also talk about what types of enemies would, say, the bomb glove be useful against. So let's talk about the enemies at the same time.
Right.
So we need something that's going to react to area damage. Like a good example here are the nests, the sand shark nests. Those are really, it's really useful to have a bomb glove because you can't get too close to them. But you may not, if you're not accurate, you'll still take them out.
Yeah, I'm trying to find some bombs right now.
Right.
They're scarce on this planet. Oh, here.
There you go. Oh yeah. Well, I guess you can get to them and do the overhead smash. That works too, but they take a few.
I don't know if you guys know the answer to this one. Ivan Dev said, this is a specific question. It's Ratchet PS4. Do the bolts actually cast shadows, or is that just a rendering, or is there some kind of trick to make them render less expensively? I'm not sure.
Well, we use transparent sprites under them. I don't think we were rendering shadows that were
actual lit shadows.
Yeah, not having a light source and casting shadows off the bolts. Al would have to answer that question.
Yeah. I'm not certain either, but that does sound like a much more effective way.
Yeah,
of
I
doing
know.
that.
The shadow that Ratchet is casting right now is not. There's an invisible collection of spheres and cylinders on Ratchet, so it's casting a low-res version of him, but it looks remarkably.
It looks pretty darn good.
Isn't that how we did it? Like
for him, I thought.
Or does that
looks like
real
rendered shadow.
Yeah, I'll take that back. Is this the PS2 one or is this?
This is the PS3 one. So there may have
Yeah.
been some little tricks there.
I thought we originally had just a circular shadow under Ratchet.
I know we did that for Spyro for sure.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Oh. Yeah.
Hey,
yeah.
Brian.
Oh, hey guys.
What's going on, man?
What's up?
You coming to see how?
Yeah, I just want to see how it felt to get interrupted. So,
how real games are made.
I want to get the gold ball.
Exactly. How's it going?
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
So, what was your favorite part about working on these games?
Well, let's see. I wish you had been there. I mean, but
Yeah.
no, favorite part actually was we were just talking about designing weapons.
Oh yeah.
That was fun. So the weapon design process, the brainstorming process was always interesting. And matching, and you're experiencing this, matching up the particular offensive weapons, whether they're guns or something else,
Yeah.
against the enemy archetypes, is a challenge. But it's also something that makes great games work, right? If you player knows what types of weapons to use against a specific enemy, or what weapon's going to give you the highest percentage success rate, that's a win.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But it's, you can talk about how hard it is.
It's everything's hard about game development. I just want to say
join
hello,
us?
guys. I just want to say hello.
Wait.
Sit down. We got plenty of
Tell
room
us-
here,
No, that's
Brian.
okay. I
Tell-
got to get work on Spider-Man.
Tell us what you were doing in 2002 when this game came out.
I was sorry. I probably blocked the camera. I
Where were you?
was writing about Ratchet and Clank.
That's right.
I was writing.
Did
I
you
was
For
writing.
EGM, right?
Yeah, free gym. I was writing, and I remember taking home Going Commando and writing. I think I gave it like a 9.0.
Did you?
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
I did.
We,
Yeah, it was
we
all-
love you, Brian.
I got yeah. But when you're talking about weapons, I remember when
it
I
doesn't-
wrote a big story on resistance,
Oh, okay.
and I remember coming down, and was it Nathan?
Nathan.
Oh,
No,
Nathan Fowl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he was showing me his weapon, and I just thought it was like the coolest thing in the entire world. It was like such a cool thing, and just seeing how Ratchet bled into resistance with the weapon design and stuff like that was pretty awesome.
That has been a passion of ours for a long time. Just the crazy, out there, weird stuff.
And then I got to sit next to Doug Sheehan during Sunset Overdrive, who worked on a lot of the weapons in Sunset Overdrive. So, yeah, so it's been crazy. All right, my joke's over. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna
Hey,
All
it's
right,
awesome
yeah.
to see you, and thank you for
no problem,
rushing.
guys. No problem.
That was Brian Antar, the creative director of Marvel's Spider-Man. And if you want to hear a lot more from Brian Antar, you only need to go back to the last episode of Insomniac Live from Friday in our Twitch videos, and you can see us talking all about Spider-Man. And
I got to interrupt him there.
yeah, and yeah, Ted crashed that, so Brian's just returning the stream crash. Someone said, "Do you guys know why you gave Ratchet shoes?" Because Ratchet not only got shoes, but he also got a shirt.
Yeah, well, because we wanted to give him more gadgets, and the shoes, the Magna boots, for example, were it was actually a functional pair of shoes.
And so then once he had those, he always kind of ended up with boots from that point onward.
Yeah, I don't. Was there a technical reason that we?
Well, I think, I mean, look at him. He's just this guy with just pants and no shirt and no shoes. I think we wanted to modernize him and evolve him.
Yeah. It's like he's out on the beach.
Jumbo Gauge T and Alvarez 27. Thank you for the follows. Like I said, you can always click that follow button on Twitch. I'll give you a shout out, and we got plenty of good shows coming up this week, like Wednesday, Wolfenstein 2, and on Friday we'll be playing Call of Duty
200
World War II. Let's see. Zeke Fergay, so don't complain about not having a bolts to buy a weapon. You're leaving a ton of them behind. We don't have the upgrade
The
to the
magnet.
wrench that sucks them all in.
And I don't have my charge boots. It's
Oh,
'cause
right.
You can't fly
Yes.
us.
It's how soon you forget. I think there's a lot of bolts over in this area.
You'll get it.
Well, I always love the vistas that you guys built, John. Like the views. Like every level starts with usually like a great view, and then throughout the level there'd be points where you would give another view of the environment, and that always felt very intentional, but also just very.
Yeah, I remember when we were tackling the awesome power of the PlayStation 2. We felt there was, or we thought there was so much you could draw that people would easily get lost. So we had to make different. The worlds all had their different themed areas. Like I was just in a desert area, and now I'm heading over to this construction site that is themed differently. So yes, that was a very conscious choice,
Yeah,
James.
that was a hallmark of all of your production designs. I remember that there were always at least two themes, two visual themes.
Well, it's funny. The goal was five per world, and I think I wish I missed it when you guys were playing Torbreck or Planet Novalis.
Yeah.
That one had, gosh, all the different areas.
It had at least three.
Right.
Had three
Because-
segments, and then it
yeah.
had the little city down in the valley, and then it had the crater where the mayor's ship comes in.
Right, and then like
The,
the backwater, like the water cave, and there's like the industrial area inside. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I got 2,500. There's only 2,500 bolts. That's so
Yeah.
funny. It's like one crate now.
Yeah, these days. Inflation. Francis G33 said, serious questions. Marcus Smith's still at Insomniac. It's hard to know when he refuses to make a Twitter account. He's still here. He did a show recently.
Ooh, you're calling Marcus out.
Yeah, check out, we did a Resistance 3 episode, and we played a fair chunk of it. We'll probably have him back to continue on with the game at some point. Him and Adam Nunchester. Adam will be here on Wednesday playing Wolfenstein. Yeah, he's still here and still the Marcus you know and love.
Yes.
Very much so. Bana Bob, Philippe MGM, Natboy97, Fuzzy Owlet, and the Epic Fang. Thank you all for the follows.
John, any stories about building any of these levels? Anything that you remember that in particular?
Yeah, I remember this one in particular, since it's a nighttime level. Just it took forever to put the lights in, right? Because in a daytime level, the sun is just one massive light, and that ended up taking a lot longer. I also remember I think there's a segment in this factory when you get into the pool that you have to swim in. Anyways,
Okay.
Getting him to yeah, I remember that. It's really exciting. I apologize. I just remember that being really hard to do for some reason.
Hard to build or hard
Yeah.
to design? Okay.
Hard to
This is a complex design. I mean, I remember we were somewhat constrained because we needed to do this pretty frequently in these levels.
Yeah, I think this entire reason for this building to exist was to teach you how to use a swing shot. And it's pretty automatic.
Oh, and I guess actually if we had come to this planet first, because you had access to both, you would have gotten in here and not had the swing shot and had to go to Metropolis anyway.
Yes.
Which kind of goes into, as this game plays out, there's a lot of areas where you run into dead ends, where there's a gadget you don't have, and you're going to end up backtracking kind of Metroid style.
There you go. Metroid.
That was a design choice, though, too.
It was.
Right, no, for
The
sure.
gating. And I think we've abandoned that.
It's definitely not as prevalent anymore, for sure.
Well, it's tough in open world games.
Yep.
Because you always have opportunities to go elsewhere, and yeah, I mean there's some of it. I'm trying to
but
think,
it
Sunset
u-
Overdrive, did we do any of that?
Well, it used to seem like it felt kind of cool to go back to a planet you'd already been to and open
have a
something
whole
up.
new area.
But then now it seems punishing.
I think it's okay in the aspect of like when there's like a whole path, you know, and we would basically lock off like a third of a planet. Then it's like there's kind of like you said, there's 5 areas on the planet. A lot of times there's 3 levels in that planet and 3 gameplay paths. So when you go back, I'm playing Mario Odyssey right now, and there's a lot of that where you eventually do go back to the levels, but there's whole new things opened up to you. Or
New
after you
Automata
beat-
does that too. I was noticing that this weekend. I was seeing things on the map I wanted to go to, and I'd run all the way over, and doors locked, and clearly something else has to happen.
Right.
Go in. Which I don't mind. It's just I wish there was a better way to remember, because we did the same thing here. We had the map, I think, where we would show where you had visited and where you hadn't, but that's still asking a lot of the player. I want a list of places that I need to go specifically.
You need that. You want that recurring.
Yeah, just
you want
reminder.
that auto map of like, hey, make sure you come back and check this out.
Something blinking, and I don't, or an easier way to put notes in the map that are going to make a difference for me. That's what I want with game design.
Godborn Plus asks, John, how did you go with color direction for the series? Like, what was the process of figuring out colors and for each area and level and all that jazz?
So there was
Let me
one.
play while you're talking.
Yeah. I can't think about color and pick up bolts at the same time. Sorry. From the global perspective, you'd want the planets to have a differentiation between them, so that you could start there. Like we have, I think there's a polluted planet that's very green. A couple levels down the line, there's the lava, planet. There's all the natural features. But then getting into the specific world, you'd want to differentiate areas, and even within the areas, you want to differentiate those areas. Like this room that Ted just walked into has red, and I think that was driven by just remembering where you needed to go and not getting lost. I would say as important as the color, there was the landmarks and things that you would remember, and that was. We took a lot of inspiration from theme park design. Like if you go to Disneyland, you can always see.
What do they call those?
They call them weenies.
Yes.
And like you can see the tip of the Matterhorn, and you can see the space mountain or something. And that's done for a reason, because people tend to get lost when they're wandering around, and that can happen to you in a game environment too.
Yeah. That's fascinating to think about in that.
Yeah, those, I mean, you know, having to figure it out with a real world thing like a theme park or how people lay out a city, you can take those solutions and apply them to a game, and it solves the same problem.
Right.
This whole- These are the kind of puzzles you just lose yourself in and just noodle around, huh? Now we're doing it on
well,
TV.
I'm feeling.
So there's
dumb.
outer
Okay,
rings.
I got it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you got it.
Where's the auto solve button?
Yeah, we need to put that in PS4. Moose Guts and Red Ratchet. Thanks for the follows, guys.
Yeah, James, did you review this game? Were you a reviewer?
I did.
What were your thoughts on it as a reviewer?
I remember writing. I should have looked back to see what my review was, but I'm confident it was a 9 or higher. And I was saying earlier to Ted, I remember I got the preview discs. I was in college. I was a freshman in college, and I had a PS2 debug and everything. So, like, I remember getting the first 8 levels on a disc and playing through it and just being like, holy shit, that was amazing. And then about a month later, they sent a disc that had levels 1 through 16, but your save worked, and so I could just pick right up halfway into that and play the next 8 levels. So by the time I actually had the review disc, I'd played the first 2/3 of the game already. But I played all the way through it, and then started a challenge mode game and played all the way through it again, and loved it. And then going Commando, and Up Your Arsenal is my favorite, and I think I gave that a perfect 10.
Wow.
But
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
That's and we
still
put that,
meaningful today.
and I think it was I don't remember the exact, but I think we did Game of the Year stuff, and I know Ratchet got at least won something. I don't remember specifics anymore, but yeah, it was they were some of my absolute favorite games in college.
So are you a Ratchet man or a Clank man?
I think I wish I was a Ratchet guy, but I find myself sometimes being the like, I don't know, like I have that, like I think I don't shoot first as much. I go on instinct, but I also am slow about going on instinct. Does that make sense? Like, does that make, like, I don't necessarily pull the trigger fast, but a lot of times I ultimately go with my gut instinct.
You mean when you're in combat in these games?
Well, I mean in general. Like,
Okay.
I'm trying to think of Clank's the more analytical think before you
I see
blow
what you're
shit
saying.
up, whereas Ratchet just immediately blows shit up. I do eventually probably go the Ratchet route and blow shit up, but I give it a lot of thought before I pull that trigger.
That's great. I wouldn't have thought to apply it like that and answer the question that way.
Yeah.
So you were talking about your own personality.
Yeah,
Whether
that-
you're a Clank or a Ratchet guy. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, but definitely like a Ratchet guy in terms of the game. Just, but I like the Clank puzzles in the Kraken Time are some of my favorite things that we've ever put in, especially for Clank. Like I think that's mind bending and fun, and I know it wasn't as mind bending and fun for other people, but for me, I loved it.
John, Ratchet or Clank?
Yeah, I prefer playing Ratchet, but I identify more with Clank, I think.
That's great.
So I remember this level was interesting because we in terms of doing the background art, there was just stuff you had to do, but then this is where we really started to do have a concept for a story going on within the level that had nothing to do with the story of the game. And the story of this level, for whatever reason, these are robot loggers, lumberjack robots. And then we just turned that into the theme for the whole level. So there's like a sawmill up in the opening view, and there's spaceships and little hovercraft hauling the logs away, and that really helped us create unique worlds where if we could invent these little stories for what went on in the world, regardless of if Ratchet or Clank ever visited, it just helped build the variety and give it its own personality. So.
I assume like once you kind of have that idea internally, then it makes idea generation just really easy, so people can just keep adding more onto it and more ideas once everyone kind of knows, oh, it's a lumberjack world, got it.
Yeah, once we got that, then the people doing the enemies started having like the saw blades like these robots have, and it just helped tie it all together, because at the time there were like 5 or 6 different people working on this, which was in 2000 was like those too big a number to comprehend, but yeah, it helped tie it all together.
So someone said they were bummed this level didn't make the remake, and I'll agree with that. Like this is a fun level, but it would be fun to see a PS4 version of this level. That's really cool.
Yeah, I always felt that this level felt like a transition away from Spyro into Ratchet. There's just the way it feels. I can imagine Spyro running around on these grassy platforms, but this was one of our early, like one of the first ones we built, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was a gameplay design transition as well. I think we were getting more clever, and we also got the Blarg here as well as the robots, so we had more sort of combat setup options, like projectile guys, pretty long range projectile guys with some fairly aggressive melee guys. It's fun to sit here and watch the crazy vehicles.
Yeah, what was the unique thing you could do on this world? Because all of our worlds had a unique thing. Maybe that's why I didn't make the remake. Because I think it's really pretty and it's fun, but
it also reminds me of Kerchu a little bit.
Oh yeah,
like just like kind of the yellow construction equipment and like the foresty world. Like Kerchu is sort of kind of a successor world for this planet. Obviously not the exact same, but the theming of it reminds me of Kerchu quite a bit from Tools of Destruction.
Yeah, I can see that.
One thing we haven't talked about, but some people brought up, David Bourgeot obviously had some great soundtracks for these games that still stand out to this day.
Yeah,
and
he did. And it was great working with Dave because we would bring him videos of the game, videotapes of the game, and he would sit there and watch them all the way through, and would come back with themes that really did match. I mean, he would add these little touches that would sort of, oh my god.
You got that health. He got killed right as you got the health, so you died right before the health applied to you. So you should have been safe, but you were off by like 10 frames or something like that.
But actually, it brings up a good point. I don't think we penalize you for dying, and we leave you with the bullets that you've collected. Because I think our theory was, well, time is money. You shouldn't have to go back and recollect stuff that you got, even though you'll have to retraverse.
And if you're dying, the best thing we could do is get you more bullets to get you more weapons.
Exactly. Because you're probably having trouble, and you need better weapons.
The weapons don't even level up in this game, do they? That wasn't until going commando, was it?
I think you're right.
Yeah, like there are gold bolt versions of the weapons later on for the second.
That's after
playthrough.
you finish the game.
Right. It's the second playthrough you can get better versions, but like they don't ever get more powerful, which is a huge thing too. Like there's a lot of things that in the PS4 game did not exist that you forget until you come back and like, oh wow, like modern Ratchet has come a long way just from controls, gameplay, progression systems. There's been a ton of things that have changed.
Yeah, I remember putting in the golden weapons about, it felt like 2 or 3 days before we shipped. That was like one of those ideas that comes at the end because we finally tuned the game and realized that could make it even better.
Well, we're going to go just a few more minutes here.
John, you want to go back and play more?
So if you guys have any final questions, get them
Let me
in.
get you out of danger.
I will say on the Bourgeot topic, I know a lot of people have wanted those soundtracks for years in like a better form. And you never know what could happen on that front. So, go. There's
when you select a weapon, it doesn't pause.
I know,
action.
we were commenting on that
It's killing me.
earlier.
Yeah.
Literally.
again, modern Ratchet, like select a weapon, pause, like such a thing.
Yeah, I wanted to say there was. Oh, I didn't even think those were projectiles. I'm so used. I wanted to say there was like another segment down by the start where you activated platforms and had to fly.
Maybe
I'm trying to sprint.
You actually have, I think I mentioned this before, an amazing memory. So,
when you're putting in however many hours building it, it sticks. Yeah.
Okay, guys, we're gonna do some rapid fire questions here.
Okay.
Francis G33 says, "What's any favorite video game soundtracks?" This could be across the board.
Conquer's Bad Fur Day.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
What about that?
Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine.
Okay, all right. I still always love. I will say the Halo theme. I think stands out as like one of the great video game themes of all time. Mario games also usually have a really great soundtrack.
True.
All the Koji Kondo stuff is terrific. Those are, these games had good ones for sure. I'm trying to think if there's any.
Conquer wins out.
Okay, Conquer wins. I don't remember that soundtrack. I have to go listen to it at my desk.
That one guy did all the sound and the soundtrack. That's what I read. And
Wow.
the sounds, I remember the sounds in that game being spectacular. And yeah, it was. I'm bothering somebody, but it was impressive to me.
Cloudtastic says, any chance of a 15th anniversary PSN avatar? That's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Let me go talk to people about that. I don't know if we haven't made an icon for it, but we'll see. We'll see. I know some people at Sony. We might be able to do something. The Rhino, obviously, big bad weapon of every game. How did that happen? How did the Rhino come up? Like, what was the story behind the Rhino? This is from Anime Analyst 15 or Anime Analyst XV. I assume that's 15.
Well, I think, John, this is my recollection. You probably have the real story, but I thought we wanted something that you could earn from collecting pieces in the world, something that was the ultimate weapon, but we wanted to make you work hard for it. And so in all of its various incarnations, you have to either earn a lot of bolts or pick up pieces along the way. The challenge, I think, with that one was not making it so overpowered that you could just blast your way
Right.
through the game. So usually we just restricted your ammo.
And
But it was the point was it had to be amazingly fun to use, super satisfying.
Yeah, especially after all the work you go through to get it.
Yeah. Trespasser.
This is the segment I was thinking of.
Megatech, will there ever be any more comic books? You never know. Nothing right now on
It's
the
the one in the ribbon.
plans, like comic-wise, but there's an anthology of those 6 comics out there.
I think you have to walk off. Oh yeah, I was right. Sorry.
Oh, this is where you actually have to. So those two,
Multiple.
those two have to do the ones. They have to be flipped all the way around because there's only 2 that are next door to each other. It's like
You've already solved it?
yes, in my head.
Damn.
Good.
I like how we
All the way around.
colored everything basically the same.
Yep, good.
Yeah.
And then the last one just needs to. There you go. Northern Star Dragon, how many days and months is a year in the Ratchet and Clank universe? Curious how old Ratchet would be in years. I think he's 15 at this game. Seems right to me, 16?
Personality seems about that.
Yeah, he's mid-teen in this game, if I remember right.
Yeah, he's just thinking about leaving home, right?
Right. And obviously, like, in the universe, he may leave home earlier than... Oh, I think he... Oh, no!
There's no double jump.
You gotta get that jumping start.
I know.
Let's see. Is there anything else? Raikaru, thoughts on speedruns? They're crazy. I'm always blown away seeing what people have done to break these games and get through them as quickly as possible. We were talking to John earlier that the speedrun world record for this game is 22 minutes.
22 minutes.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, you should watch one sometime. It'll blow your mind, the things that they do. It doesn't take that long either, which is nice. But the things they have done to your game to get through it in 22 minutes is pretty incredible. John, do you have any favorite Quark moments?
I remember in was it Up Your Arsenal where we went to Quark's house, his Fortress of Solitude. It was either Up Your Arsenal or Going Commando. It was a snowy planet. And then we went and we had to build Quark's bedroom, and we gave him like a water bed. It was a circular, circular mattress,
right.
and we had like no memory left, but we wanted to give him like the red velvet sheets or blankets, and that was pretty fun.
He's 17 in the game, by the way. That's
Is that what
That's
we
it.
said at some point when we lost
I
this game?
think someone says that. Well, maybe I don't know. That's what someone is saying is official. It's somewhere between. It's either 15 or 17. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I know it's odd, and it's one of those two. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
So is he 32 in the latest? Or
I don't think we've gone that far in the timeline.
I guess that was a remake, so he was 17 again.
Yeah, he was
It's a better looking 17.
The grab and save. We'll get through this area. I'm trying to see if.
I have to get through this area.
No, you don't have to
you,
get
Jim.
through this area. The one other thing I was going to point out, and when you were shooting the vehicles, someone pointed out that was one of the skill points to shoot down enough vehicles, and that was the thing that was ahead of its time too, and came from the Spyro games even, where you had these skill points that essentially were kind of the precursor to achievements.
They don't auto.
That whole
Oh.
classic. No,
Our
getting
that-
all the
our
way
save
back.
point
Who
here
did
is
this? Yeah.
ridiculous.
Like,
Wow.
who was that? Is that me?
I
to
don't
get
think
mad
so.
at myself.
All right, guys. I think we're gonna
All right.
wrap it up. Any last thoughts from you guys? 15 years of Ratchet and Clank. Game has been out for 15 years at this
It
point.
went by so fast. I know that sounds cliched, but it did. I mean, I feel like whether it's Spyro or Ratchet, it feels like it wasn't that long ago we were working on it.
Yeah, I can't believe we've been lucky enough to keep making them.
Yeah.
And it's been a great ride. I wouldn't trade those 15 years for anything.
Yeah.
As far as one final question, a bunch of people are trying to get in now. The original timeline versus the Neo timeline of the new game. What's going to continue, what's not going to continue. We haven't announced any new Ratchet and Clank games, so it's premature to say what could happen in the future with Ratchet. I think, people, you guys have proven how much you love the series with, buying the PS4 game, and, I doubt you've seen the last of them, but what's going to happen next, we can't even begin to talk about it because there's nothing announced at this point. And, things can change at all times. Always in motion, the future is what Master Yoda would say.
Nice.
So, we hear you. We know you guys are asking that question a lot, but there's no answer at this point that we could give. Guys, thanks for coming by and playing Ratchet and Clank. It's been fun.
Yeah.
Like I said, if you're in Los Angeles or nearby, come out Saturday night. Both of these gentlemen will be there at Gallery Nucleus as we celebrate the 15th anniversary. Also, if you're not going to be here, keep an eye on our Twitter and Facebook. We'll probably do some live video from the gallery, photos and all that sort of stuff. It'll be around 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Pacific. So if you're overseas, maybe when you wake up in the morning, you'll see some cool content from there. But guys, thanks for coming and playing Ratchet and Clank. We'll be back on Insomniac Live on Wednesday, where we'll be playing Wolfenstein 2 with your favorite Swole Adam, as well as Adam Newchester. And make sure you click follow here on Twitch to be notified of when we go live. Also, follow us on all of our social media, Insomniac Games on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff. We'll see you guys on Wednesday.